All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to do a little bit of talking about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Yeah, I was listening to that song earlier. Now, let me tell you, I don't even know the words because when that came out, it was taboo to even talk about it. I mean, really, as a young 13, 14-year-old young lady, I mean, my mom, I don't know, but we never had the talk. And I mean, there was a lot going on. My childhood was upside down. I was taking care of my mom for a long time, but that's neither here nor there. All I'm saying is that there was a time, and it probably still is now, especially with what's going on with the world being all topsy-turvy. Well, there was a time when we weren't allowed to talk about sex. And the more I'm studying in this Megillah, I'm starting to realize why. Because they had to profane sex. Because in this Holy Megillah, Nazarene Bible of the Essene Way, we are being told that the way, the Essene way, the healing way, and all of that is the masculine and the feminine, and it's the dance of creation, and that is the way of Yah, and that is Yah's way. And it's all based on supernal love. And so let's get into one of these teachings tonight from the Magdalene. It's actually her first sermon on Essene Tantra, and that's coming to us out of the Godspell, the Holy Godspell, chapter 51. It's titled The First Sermon of the Magdalene on Essene Tantra. I like to say Tantra, on Essene Tantra. But Tantra is, we're going to do a little bit of research right quick, and I'm going to read to you about what Essene Tantra is. This says that this sermon is subtitled Gamara as yoga and the meaning of the Holy Creative Trinity and how that relates to sex. So we're going to learn a little bit about this word Gamara. It's equivalent to the Sanskrit Tantra. And so don't get your undies in a bunch, okay, or uncomfortable about this subject. I don't think any kids should listen to this. It's probably going to take me like 3 videos because I think that there's 4 sermons from the Magdalene on Essene Tantra. And keep in mind, this is probably why she was classified and labeled as a prostitute, because you'll see as we go through here, the teachings are all about knowledge of self. Because, I got so much to say, but let's get started. First, we're going to read a footnote. I love these footnotes. They're so powerful. We're going to go to chapter 6 in the Holy Godspell, and it's about the conception of Yeshua, because it really breaks down these 2 forms of sex that we're going to learn about from the Magdalene. So all the way in verse 28, it says, "Behold, within the order of the Immaculate Conception, young men and women are taught that there is profane sex which should be avoided due to its harmful effects, and there is sacred sex, which is a great blessing from Jaja. Sacred sex is of 2 types. So the first type of sacred sex is called Berikaya, which means Yah blesses. This is intercourse with the intention of conception. The intercourse is accompanied by certain prayers prescribed by the scroll of the angel on the Immaculate Conception. Yeah, and with spontaneous prayers from the heart of the participants composed in that sacred moment. And the purpose of those prayers is to attract beautiful souls to the womb, a being of great love and light. For behold, the thoughts and feelings we have before and during conception attract certain souls and repel others. It is for the purpose of procreation that Yah sent forth the divine masculine and the divine feminine emanations. And this is the great gift, which is the gift of life, which is also the great blessing. Wherefore, the Nazarene term for sex with the intention of conception is Berikaya, for indeed Yah does bless the holy embrace of all who make sacred the sexual embrace for purposes of holy conception. We're at verse 38 in chapter 6 of the Holy God Spell. It says, behold, the second type of sacred sex is called Gamara, which means completion. This is not sex with intention of conception, but for pleasure and spiritual bliss, wherein the two merge as one in Yah. Behold, Gamara is a meditation practice in which the divine masculine merges with the divine feminine in the eternal now of Yah. Lo, in Gamara, the divine masculine and the divine feminine complete one another in the unity of Yah consciousness, in sacred embrace as lover and beloved, the culmination of their play. Behold, Gamara often includes intercourse, but need not. For in the sacred embrace, even a stroke of the cheek while gazing into the eyes of your beloved may complete you. Likewise, the sharing of a cup of tea. But know this, Gamara is a way of awakening to the completeness that already exists within us, for Yah is within. Yea, we are complete within, and Gamara is a way to taste this fruit. And this way is the play of him and her, which is their play and their ecstasy. Okay, so I got a little footnote here on page 362, a little bit more about Gamara. It says the Nazarene word Gamara means completion in Yah. It refers to the type of sexual activity that in the Sanskrit literature of India is called Tantra. In a Nazarene sectarian context, Gamara refers to the divine masculine and divine feminine merging together in profound oneness, thereby completing each other. This type of sacred sexuality is considered a meditation practice because it leads to unity consciousness, wherein the two merge as one. There's a little more on this. It says, most, if not all, forms of meditation are intended to bring the practitioner into a state of oneness with the object of contemplation and ultimately with God and Goddess. In Gamara, like Tantra, the object of contemplation is your partner, viewed as a reflection of the divine masculine aspect or divine feminine aspect. Instead of gazing at a candle flame or a mandala or focusing on a mantra, your partner's eyes become your focusing agent as your bodies and souls merge in completion. The meditation is the contemplation of the merging of the divine feminine aspect with the divine masculine aspect in the unity of Yah consciousness, but without the intention of conception. So yes, sorry, that was a pretty long footnote, but it really went into detail about this unity of Yah consciousness. This is why they hid the mother, because we're made in the image and the likeness of the first creative Trinity, and that is what the Magdalene is going to teach us right now. So let's get started. So we're going to start in verse 4 of chapter 51. Miriam said to Sita and the other sisters, Gamara is completeness in Yah. Yah consciousness is the ecstatic living experience that is rooted in the awareness of what is always true, but not always realized. We are always centered in Yah. Sita, you know that the word yoga means union. We are always truly in union with the all. All are within the widest circle that is universal, YHWH. That's universal first family. It's also called universal Yahweh. And it's also called the all. She says in verse 8, although all beings are truly always in union, behold, many beings are not in conscious experiential union. Many are unaware of that union, or even if intellectually aware of it, not consciously experiencing it as a living reality. Religions teach yoga systems, practices intended to induce the condition of conscious experiential union with supreme beingness. Sacred sex, Nazarene sexual tantra, Gamara, and Berikaya is one yogic practice that can induce conscious experiential union with supreme beingness. For Nazarenes, Supreme beingness is Yah consciousness, expressed as the Holy Creative Trinity within the context of the nod of wisdom to supernal love. I will describe the Holy Creative Trinity. Imagine a triangle pointing up. The top point is Yah. The point at the right base of the triangle is the divine masculine. The point at the left base of the triangle is the divine feminine. The Holy Creative Trinity is within you and all around you. You are created in the image and the likeness of the Holy Creative Trinity. Whatever the Holy Creative Trinity is, you are that in embryonic image and likeness unfolding like a celestial golden rose. We are all children of the first creative Trinity, Yah, Jah, and Jalah. Yah is Am and manifest as Iyah, the I am of every being, according to the creative process described in the divine plan, as told in the book of Matanah. Jah, the divine father, is the first masculine pole, divine assertiveness, well symbolized by the male penis, and symbolized cosmically as the seed of life and the lightning bolt. Jalah, the divine mother, is the first feminine space, divine receptivity. Space is the divine opening that receives the masculine pole. Space is well symbolized by the female vagina and symbolized cosmically as the mother womb, that is, the mother ovum, also called the cosmic egg. Behold the way that Yah expanded to become the first family. The first Yahweh is the same way that first Yahweh expanded to become universal Yahweh, also called first family and also called all. The way is the Yahweh, that is the Holy Creative Trinity that is well symbolized by the symbol of the order of Shemesh and Shemaiah, the yin-yang symbol. The Holy Creative Trinity is the holy pattern and also is the creative process by which that pattern unfolds, well symbolized by some Hindu and Buddhist yoginis in many of their yantra artworks. The Holy Creative Trinity manifests expansion of existence, consciousness, and bliss. Expansion of being births baby beings. Those are sparks of being, souls of masculine or feminine spin, centered in Yah. Now, I just gonna repeat this line right here because I don't know if y'all heard that. It said that the Holy Creative Trinity manifests expansion of existence, consciousness, and bliss. Expansion of being births baby beings. Those are sparks of being, souls of masculine or feminine spin, centered in Yah. So we're being told in the Megillah that you are masculine or feminine down to the soul. The soul takes on either the masculine or the feminine spin. We're going to read somewhere else about it in a minute, but just keep that in mind because I was raised to believe and taught that there is no gender in the soul. Not according to this Megillah. It's saying there is. The soul is either masculine or feminine. It takes on either spin. And that was what I started reading in that video about the animus and the anima and the animus, because there's supposed to be, no matter what you are, whether you're feminine or masculine, you still have a piece of the opposite, a part of you, because that's how everything exists. But let me just get back to this. The masculine and the feminine principles attract one another. They play hide and seek in the game of the sexes for two purposes. The first purpose is creative expansion of life, exemplified in humankind as sex for procreation. The second purpose is the creative expansion of the bliss of union in Tantra, which is all the fun things that Shemesh and Shemaiah, the masculine and the feminine principles, do to experience enhanced joy in one another, including but not limited to sexual pleasures. She says, Sita asked me to teach classes on Gamara yoga, but in this first lesson, I will teach no exotic lovemaking postures, but point to the divine sexual pattern that is the Holy Creative Trinity. She says, split a log and there you see it. Lift a stone and there it is. And that is the way of Yahweh. YHWH. Om Shalom. Amen. All right, so that was the end of that one, but we're about to jump and read real quick this footnote that I think helps to expound on what I repeated over there in verse 31 about those are sparks of being, souls of masculine or feminine spin, centered in Yah. Yeah, that's pretty freaking amazing to me, man. Let me get to this thing now. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. All right, so this is actually from the Nazarene Book of Genesis. So that's Old Testament in this Holy Megillah, but it's on page 139. And this is a very long footnote, so I won't read the whole thing. But I wanted to read a little bit because there's a word for female spiritual entity, just like there's a word we know about Ish for the man or male. Well, Isha means woman. It says the Hebrew word Isha means woman as distinct from man. It is often used as an adjunct to a more definite term and thus is often unexpressed when translating from Hebrew into English. It is the feminine form of the Hebrew word ish. You know, ish, that's how you pronounce it, I-S-H. Well, I-S-H, ish, or ish, means male person. Oh, the Nazarene sectarian use of the word isha and ish differ from the normative Hebrew. Okay? Isha is the Nazarene sectarian term for a female spiritual entity, a woman in the deepest spiritual sense. Ish is the Nazarene sectarian term for a masculine spiritual entity, a man in the deepest spiritual sense. In other words, each spiritual entity takes on either the masculine or feminine polarity at a deeper level than the physical body. So I'm going to just stop there for right now. You guys can read the rest, but when I come back with the second sermon from the Magdalene, we're going to read some more of this. This footnote is really deep. It talks about the word Kadisha and that it had been corrupted, and they gave it the meaning of temple prostitute, because this Tantra, this Gamara, was taught by the Nazarenes and the Nazarene priestess, this form of what we're learning. So, of course, they would start to call, you know, these women out of their name. So go ahead. If you want to read this, you can pause the video and read it. But I'm going to get out of here now and get to working on part 2. This is so exciting, you know, like to know that my soul is either masculine or feminine. It's not just the body that I'm wearing. But they got the order of Shemesh and Shemaiah, and that, my dear friends, is the second baptism. So I got a video on that. You might want to check it out. But all right, talk to you soon. Stay tuned.